Cheers.
Cheers. Man. Yep. So I had kind of a stressful day today. I had a stressful day.
Oh, part of it. Right.
Well, yes, just part
And it
of
all started when I gave her a great idea for a tweet last night.
Yeah, last night.
I couldn't tweet about it because I'm tweeting about not a number for 30 days. So I told Martha to tweet about it, and apparently it was a little.
Well, wait, no, he said it, and then I told him it was about JavaScript, and I told him that would be a great tweet because people love tweets about JavaScript. So then he said that I should tweet it. Anyway, because I do love tweeting about web development stuff. You know, it's kind of something I do.
What was the tweet?
I said how amazing JavaScript is that you can do front-end development, back-end development, and mobile development. And then I added on, are there any other languages that can do that?
No, I think you said like what other language can
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
what other languages can do that? Yeah.
So it was a little, you know.
And a lot of people took it as like throwing down the gauntlet, like.
Yeah. Combative.
And on the one hand, I really appreciated learning about all these other languages and the different frameworks that go along with them, like C# and Python
people don't
and
like JavaScript.
Dart and all these things. Yeah.
I think they're just jealous. I'm jealous.
It could be jealousy because JavaScript is insanely popular. And it also is able to interact with the browser, right? It's the only language that can do that? I don't know. See, here's the thing. I'm still a beginner.
Me too.
You know? I jumped into JavaScript. I decided to learn JavaScript because I was looking for a language, a programming language that I could learn quickly and had a lot of prospects for getting a job, and JavaScript was the one that was recommended, so I just dove right in.
Yeah, but anyways, you didn't even get that many negative comments. You got like 3 or 4 negative comments, and most people were just like saying different other languages or whatever. So,
That's true.
And then you got like 1,000 likes. So people
Is
actually.
that 1,000? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's like over
there you
1,000
go.
likes.
That's nice. Yeah.
So
Okay.
obviously people liked it, but I was, so like that's the thing. It's like, why do we focus on
the negative,
the 4 negative comments as opposed to all the people that appreciated or ignored it?
That's true. Yeah. So it's just those few negative ones that really stick with me, and I am, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm actually very sensitive to negative feedback. I'm not thick-skinned. I'm very good at like turning things around in a positive light. I'm very good at reading, like seeing the best in people and leaving the best in them. So like even the people who did negative comments today, I just was thinking the best of them, but at the same time it still hurt. It still hurt. Just like, oh man, sad.
And well, this is something like we've talked about. Like, why don't more people learn in public? Why don't more people share things on Twitter under their real name or even under a pseudonym? Like, why is it so rare in a certain sense?
Right.
And this is why.
This is why.
Is that people?
Yep.
Like all these people that were like swearing at her and calling her names and things
I don't know if they did that.
Someone like retweeted. It's like, this is like
right.
a terrible person, or this is like.
Well, no, he said people like this make me laugh or something. I mean, it was derogatory, but he didn't like.
There was one guy that called JavaScript shit.
Yeah.
JavaScript is shit.
Like that. Yeah. People get uppity about programming languages sometimes.
But anyways, this is why people don't do it. One reason, and this is like just a mild example, right? And this is, like I said, the majority of the response was positive.
Mm-hmm.
The majority was positive. There's a tiny little, and it's like, I mean, you go on anyone who has like any kind of following of any size, and so many of the comments are negative. Right. So many. Yeah. Possibly the majority. I mean, depending on like who it is, and how controversial they are. But
and it's so much easier to be negative. It's it's very easy to be negative. It's like being a movie critic, right? It's easier to criticize movies than to make your own. It's really hard to make a good movie. We know because we've actually made some little movies, very little movies. But so I've been active on Twitter, active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a little more civil, even though people have gone back and forth arguments about technologies there too. And then there's YouTube, and YouTube comments are notorious for being negative. I've only gotten one so far there, and it wasn't even that bad. But
well, I think like the thing with Twitter and LinkedIn too, like LinkedIn for the most part, everyone's like under their real name. They have their resume up there and everything. So it's rare to have someone who just doesn't give a crap, and it's just
right. You don't really have anonymous accounts on LinkedIn.
So and yeah, that's the thing with Twitter is that I would say over half are anonymous, and that really does give you that protection of being able to say whatever you want. So
yeah. So the question is like how much. I mean, I kind of go back and forth between doing more or doing less on social media, on YouTube, etc. Because
you already have a job.
I already have a job.
Point. The whole point was to
learn publicly so I can get a job. So I don't really have to anymore, you know? So I have to like think, why am I doing this? How important is it? And is it worth potentially going through a lot of heartache or
right. Well, see, that's,
you know?
That's the thing too. Like with Twitter, like Twitter is like a game. It's like an actual game, multiplayer game, and most people on there are just playing it for its own sake. You know, they're playing it to score points. They're playing it to get likes. They're playing to to feel good about themselves or just feel like they're part of the conversation, whatever, which is fine. But it's like both you and I, like we never approached it just for that. Or especially you, like
as
you
a game,
are right.
Yeah.
Well, you approach it as a game, but it's like the deeper game you were playing was getting a job.
Right.
Was basically
to show what I was learning,
right.
and eventually someone would, in the hopes that someone would approach me and offer me a job, which is basically what happened. So yay, it worked.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a few months ago you were playing that cookie clicker game.
That's right.
And that was just as addictive as Twitter.
That's right.
But it's like there's nothing. There's no.
But I wasn't gaining anything.
Right,
from it.
And that's the thing with Twitter. It's like if you're willing to risk the attacks, risk the humiliation. And it's not jobs. Just one thing. Like there's like friendships. I've had like different like freelance gigs come from it, and so I mean, there's so many opportunities that can come from it.
Yeah. In
In the real world, as opposed to like playing like solitaire.
Just getting points in a game. Yep. Right. Yep.
So that's definitely the better way to play it. But.
Yep.
So how are you feeling now? Are you gonna keep tweeting or
keep tweeting?
Are you done?
Keep doing YouTube. I'll. Daddy will. This happens now and then. It's okay. Oh, am I gonna keep doing it? Well, what am I getting out of it? Why would I keep doing it? I do love feeling connected to people. I love being part of the development world and just chatting with other developers about development things. It's nice to be part of that community and have people to share things with. So that's nice. That's something that I'm getting out of it at least. In terms of otherwise, like in terms of YouTube and different things, I guess the secondary thing, another thing is I want to continue to help and encourage people who are like me and share my experience. Like it's not easy to teach yourself web development and to job search and to get a job and continue. I mean, it's like, so sharing that journey and the things I've learned along the way, I can see that as potentially helping someone out there who's like me. So I would see it as worthwhile for that reason. And you pointed this out to me. It's like to focus on those people, you know?
Right, exactly. Yeah, focus on like the 80% of people who actually, or 90% of people who actually appreciate your content, actually are being helped by you.
Yeah.
That goes for anyone. Like anyone, like on social media, it's like.
Yeah.
But it's like in order to reach those people, you have to be willing to get the hate too. So.
The hate.
And like I was telling her this morning, like, this is nothing compared with
I know
what it could be,
nothing.
and what it probably will be at some point.
Yeah.
It's gonna get worse. You know, someday you're gonna say something that's gonna really piss people off.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be worse.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, I mean, I don't know. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like your challenges that you do, all your crazy challenges that you do.
Right. I mean,
it's a growth experience.
I mean, that's why I do like the different the rejection challenge or the discomfort challenge. Basically, forcing myself to face these social fears that I have, and that you don't even know are there until they basically are put in that situation. Like that was the crazy thing. Like I went to Costco and I was gonna ask a stranger to give me a compliment. I just walk up to them and ask them, and it took me almost like an hour. I was just like walking around the store, and I would see somebody, and I'd be like, oh, okay, they're kind of by themselves, and I would start walking up to them, and I would be terrified, and I would, like, I mean, it's just so something so simple and silly, like in terms of like what the worst they're gonna do is like say, look at me stupid, or like they're probably not gonna like attack me. They're probably not going to call security, but it's like those are all the scenarios running through my mind.
Right, and social fears.
I did three strangers. I asked for compliments.
Well, my favorite challenge of yours was when you held up a sign on the side of the road saying, what was it?
Asking for money. Yeah.
To go skydiving and need money for skydiving.
And most people just like glared at me or ignored me. But then there was one guy who stopped at the red light. And he rolled down his window and he's like waving at me to come over. So I crossed the lanes, went over to his car and he gave me $20. So.
And he was laughing and said he just made his day, right?
Oh, right, yeah. He was laughing. He just thought it was hilarious.
That's the thing. Like you said, focus on the 90%, but I'd say like even for the 10%, even if I just
Right.
So it was worth it for that
most
one
people,
guy.
Most people will just ignore you. Most people will ignore you.
A small amount will actually hate you or not like you.
And then another small amount will actually
really appreciate it. Yeah. So the question is it worth it for that small percentage that you'll just make their day? And I mean. Right.
Well, I mean that wasn't even why I was doing it, but it's like.
No. And you did go skydiving after that.
I did, yeah. It cost a little more than $20, but it helped.
Yeah. So, I guess in conclusion, I need to do more, not less, I'd say. Because today I identified this fear that I have. This seriously, literally crippling fear. Like, I got a migraine. I was like laying on the bed in fetal position, kind of crippling, just because of these semi-negative comments. Like, this is no good. Like, I think I need to do it even more because I don't want to live like that. Just like how I did my live coding challenges, because I recognized that I got paralyzed when I was in a situation like that where I had to code live. And so I just put myself in that situation, and guess what? It started to be fun. I got over it. It's okay. I made myself look like a fool on YouTube doing these coding challenges, which I mostly failed, and it was okay. There were no negative consequences. So I think I need to do more, not less. What do you think?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
I mean, I don't want to. I mean, yeah. No, I mean, just post more.
Post more, especially videos. I really like making videos.
Yeah.
It's really fun. So, awesome.
Great. And,
high five.
Yeah.
Go team.
And you too. Go post stuff.
Yeah, you too, guys. Yeah.
Be fearless.